Have you ever noticed how quickly the world loses interest in things that grow old? A new phone replaces the old one. New trends replace yesterday's fashion. Even people are often made to believe that their value fades with age. But what if we've been looking at beauty the wrong way all along? Welcome to Book Bite. Today, we're exploring Shibui, the Japanese art of finding beauty in aging, a philosophy that teaches us that the most beautiful things in life are not the newest, they're the ones that have quietly grown richer with time. And by the end of this journey, you may never look at growing older the same way again.
Part 2. Simplicity is timeless. Have you ever bought something you were excited about, only to lose interest in it a few weeks later? We often believe that having more will make us happier. A bigger house, more clothes, newer gadgets, another decoration, another purchase. But strangely, the more we own, the more our lives begin to feel crowded. Shibui offers a different way of looking at beauty. It teaches that true elegance doesn't come from adding more, it comes from knowing what to leave out. Think about a quiet room with only a few carefully chosen objects. Nothing is trying to steal your attention. Everything has a purpose. Everything has room to breathe. That's why it feels peaceful. The same can be true for our lives. Not every commitment deserves your time. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every possession adds value to your happiness. Sometimes removing what no longer serves you creates space for what truly matters. And this isn't only about the things we own, it's also about the way we speak, the way we work, the way we live. People with quiet confidence rarely feel the need to impress others. They let their actions speak for themselves. Perhaps that's the real beauty of Shibui. It never tries to stand out, yet somehow it is the thing you remember the most. Because simplicity isn't about having less, it's about making sure that what remains is genuinely worth keeping.
Part 3. Aging is not decline. As children, we couldn't wait to grow older. Every birthday felt exciting. Every new year meant becoming a little taller, a little wiser, a little closer to our dreams. But somewhere along the way, something changed. We began to fear getting older. We started counting wrinkles instead of memories. Gray hair became something to hide. Age became something to apologize for. The philosophy of Shibui gently asks us to see aging through different eyes. What if growing older isn't losing your beauty? What if it's discovering a deeper kind of beauty? Think about an old wooden table that has been part of a family's home for decades. Its surface carries small marks. Its color has softened with time. It isn't perfect anymore, yet those very imperfections tell a story. They remind us that it has been loved, used, and lived with. People are no different. Every challenge you've overcome, every lesson you've learned, every person you've loved quietly shapes who you become. Those experiences don't take away your beauty, they deepen it. Shibui reminds us that the goal of life isn't to stay young forever. It's to become someone whose kindness, wisdom, and character grow more beautiful with every passing year. Because in the end, the people we remember most are rarely the youngest. They're the ones whose lives became richer with time.
Part 4. Quiet confidence. Have you ever met someone who instantly made you feel calm? Not because they were loud or impressive, but because they didn't seem to be trying to prove anything. There's a quiet kind of confidence that doesn't seek attention. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need constant approval. It simply comes from knowing who you are. Today, we're often taught to stand out, to speak louder, to show more, to let everyone know what we've achieved. But Shibui points in the opposite direction. It reminds us that the strongest people are often the quietest. They don't waste energy comparing themselves with others. They're too busy becoming better versions of themselves. Think about the ocean. It doesn't announce its depth, it simply is. The same is true for genuine confidence. They don't need to convince the world of their worth. Their kindness speaks, their actions speak, their character speaks. Perhaps real confidence isn't about believing you're better than everyone else. Perhaps it's about no longer needing to compete at all. Shibui teaches that when you stop chasing recognition, you finally have the freedom to become your true self. Because the people who shine the brightest are often the ones who never tried to be the center of attention. Part 5. Depth over appearance. First impressions can be powerful, but they are rarely complete. A person may seem confident, yet be deeply insecure. Something may look beautiful on the outside, yet have very little lasting value. Shibui reminds us that the things worth keeping are rarely the ones that impress us instantly. They are the ones that reveal their beauty little by little. Think about your favorite book. The first page probably didn't change your life. It was the journey through every chapter that made it unforgettable. People are much the same. The most meaningful friendships aren't built in a single conversation. Trust grows over years. Kindness reveals itself through small actions. Wisdom appears in the way someone responds to life's difficult moments. These qualities can't be seen at first glance. They take time to discover. Yet modern life often encourages us to judge quickly. We're surrounded by polished images, perfect highlights, and carefully edited moments. It's easy to mistake appearance for value. But Shibui gently asks us to look deeper, because what lasts is rarely what shines the brightest. It's what continues to reveal new meaning with time. Perhaps real beauty isn't something that captures your attention for a moment. Perhaps it's something that quietly earns your admiration for a lifetime. And those are the people, the places, and the moments that never lose their value.
Part 6. Live with intention. Have you ever reached the end of the day and wondered where all your time went? You were busy from morning to night, yet somehow the day feels like it disappeared. The philosophy of Shibui reminds us that a meaningful life isn't built by doing more. It's built by choosing what truly deserves our attention. Every choice we make quietly shapes the person we're becoming. The words we speak, the habits we repeat, the people we spend time with, even the thoughts we return to each day. When we live without intention, life begins to feel crowded. We say yes to things we don't value. We chase goals that don't truly matter. We become so busy that we forget to ask ourselves why we're rushing in the first place. Shibui encourages us to slow down and ask a simple question: does this add meaning to my life? If the answer is no, perhaps it's something we can gently let go. Living with intention doesn't mean living a perfect life. It means making small choices with greater awareness, choosing presence over distraction, quality over quantity, purpose over pressure. Because a beautiful life isn't created by accident. It's created one thoughtful decision at a time. And perhaps the greatest change begins the moment you stop asking, "What else should I add?" and start asking, "What truly deserves to stay?"
Part 7. Nature is the greatest teacher. There's a reason why we feel different after spending time in nature. Not because our problems suddenly disappear, but because nature quietly reminds us how life was always meant to be. Look at a tree. It never rushes to grow taller. It doesn't compare itself to the tree beside it. It simply grows at its own pace, season after season. The same is true for every flower, every mountain, every river. Nothing in nature is trying to become something it's not. Only we seem to believe that we're constantly behind. We compare our success, our appearance, our achievements, and our lives. Shibui gently asks us to stop comparing and start observing. Nature never sees aging as a problem. A weathered stone, an old tree, autumn leaves, they're all admired because time has shaped them, not despite it. Perhaps we were meant to see ourselves the same way. Every season of your life has a purpose. There will be seasons of growth, seasons of change, and seasons of quiet rest. None of them are mistakes. Because just like nature, you don't have to bloom every single day. Sometimes, simply continuing to grow is more than enough. And maybe the greatest lesson nature teaches us is this: the most beautiful things never try to be beautiful. They simply become what they were always meant to be. Part 8. Craftsmanship matters. We live in a world that celebrates quick results. Finish faster, earn more, move on to the next thing. But have you ever noticed that the things we treasure most are rarely made in a hurry? A handcrafted piece of pottery, a beautifully written book, a song that stays with us for years. They all carry something that cannot be rushed. They carry care. This is one of the quiet lessons of Shibui. Mastery isn't about being naturally talented. It's about showing up again and again, even when no one is watching. In Japan, many artisans spend decades perfecting a single craft, not because they want fame, but because they believe every small improvement matters. They understand that excellence isn't created in one extraordinary moment. It's created through thousands of ordinary ones. Perhaps our own lives should be no different. Whether you're studying, building a career, raising a family, or simply trying to become a better person, you don't have to become extraordinary overnight. You only have to become a little better than you were yesterday. because every small effort quietly shapes your future. Shibui reminds us that the goal isn't perfection, it's dedication. And maybe the most meaningful masterpiece you'll ever create isn't something you make with your hands, it's the person you become through years of patient practice.
Part 9. Relationships mature with time. Some of the most meaningful people in your life probably didn't become important overnight. They became important through ordinary moments, shared conversations, small acts of kindness, being there when it mattered most. Yet we live in a world that expects everything to happen quickly. Instant friendships, instant love, instant trust. When relationships don't grow as fast as we hope, we sometimes wonder if something is wrong. But Shibui reminds us that the strongest connections are never built in a hurry. They're built slowly, just like a tree grows one ring at a time. Every shared experience adds another layer of trust. Every challenge faced together makes the bond a little stronger. Every moment of honesty brings two people a little closer. Real relationships aren't perfect. They're patient. They make room for mistakes. They survive misunderstandings. They grow because both people choose to keep showing up. Perhaps that's why the friendships that last for decades feel so precious. They carry memories that no new relationship can replace. They've been shaped by time, and time has made them more beautiful. Shibui teaches us that the people who truly matter are not always the ones who arrive with excitement. They're the ones who quietly remain through every season of life. Because the deepest relationships aren't measured by how they begin. They're measured by how they continue to grow year after year. The final part, the 3 teachings that change everything. After exploring the philosophy of Shibui, one truth becomes beautifully clear. This isn't really a book about aging. It's a book about becoming, about choosing a life that grows richer instead of louder. And if you remember only 3 lessons from this journey, let them be these. The first is that beauty is something you grow into. Our world celebrates what is new, but Shibui reminds us that the most valuable things take time. Wisdom, kindness, patience, character. None of them can be rushed. Just like a tree becomes stronger with every passing season, every challenge you overcome quietly shapes the person you're becoming. The second lesson is that a quiet life can be a beautiful life. You don't have to impress everyone. You don't have to chase every trend or seek constant attention. There is a special kind of peace that comes from living simply, loving deeply, and knowing that your worth has never depended on being noticed. Sometimes the people who leave the greatest impact are the ones who never asked for the spotlight. And finally, life is about becoming, not remaining. Every year changes you. Every experience teaches you. Every mistake gives you the chance to grow wiser than before. Instead of fearing those changes, Shibui invites us to welcome them, because growing older is not losing who you are, it's discovering who you were always capable of becoming. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Don't spend your life trying to stay the same. Spend it becoming someone whose kindness grows deeper, whose heart grows gentler, and whose presence makes the world a little more peaceful. Thank you for sharing this journey with me. If this philosophy touched your heart, carry it with you beyond this video. And if you enjoy discovering timeless books that help us live with greater wisdom and purpose, you're always welcome here at BookBite. Until next time, don't be afraid of the passing years, because the most beautiful things in life are almost always the ones that become more meaningful with time.